The New England Patriots have shocked the football world. They've just achieved something no team in NFL history had ever managed. The 2025-2026 New England Patriots are now the first franchise to complete an undefeated road season with at least 9 road victories, establishing a milestone unmatched even by the iconic 1972 Miami Dolphins, long considered the benchmark for perfection. While discussion around New England's strength of schedule has circulated heavily, and some of those points carry understandable weight, one core truth tends to be overlooked. Winning in the NFL is difficult. Winning away from home is even more demanding, and winning on the road in blizzard conditions, inside one of the most hostile and elevation-driven home field environments in the league, against the number 1 seed in the AFC, elevates the achievement into a different category entirely. That is precisely what Drake Maye and the Patriots accomplished in Denver. That victory added yet another historical wrinkle, as Drake Maye just achieved something Tom Brady never did, entering the mile-high environment and emerging with a postseason win. The significance of that moment stretches beyond records, signaling a dramatic turning point in the Patriots' modern identity and competitive trajectory. Brady finished his postseason career in Denver 0-3, recording more turnovers than touchdowns, with 4 interceptions to just 3 scores. Drake Maye, meanwhile, delivered 1 touchdown with 0 turnovers, giving him an immediate statistical edge over the most accomplished quarterback in NFL history in one of the league's toughest environments. But the significance does not end there. This Patriots team became the first in NFL history to defeat 3 top 5 defenses in a single playoff run, an unprecedented accomplishment that highlights both resilience and adaptability under pressure. And although Drake Maye has not produced weekly 400-yard, 4-touchdown explosions, he has consistently provided what championship-caliber football demands: efficient, mistake-free, situationally intelligent quarterback play. If New England were to defeat the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl, they would add a victory over the number 6 defense, completing what could be considered one of the most difficult postseason offensive gauntlets ever navigated. This entire surge has been driven not only by talent, but by strategic precision. Mike Vrabel has delivered a quiet masterclass, especially through his manipulation of substitution rules. When offenses accelerate tempo, defenses often crumble under fatigue. Vrabel countered this by forcing controlled substitutions, slowing the pace and allowing his unit to recover. Late in Denver, with momentum tilting, Vrabel's calculated adjustments erased the Broncos' rhythm and produced a crucial negative play. That level of detail is foundational to sustained success. Now only one obstacle remains: the NFC champion Seattle Seahawks, the top seed and one of the league's most explosive teams. A squad that overcame an egregious taunting penalty, surrendered a 60-yard touchdown immediately after, and still closed out the win with ease. Until this moment, Seattle looked destined for an effortless march to a championship. But this Patriots team presents a nightmare matchup, and the details reveal exactly why. Seattle's offense is structured around its ground game, built on the power and explosiveness of Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. During the 2025 regular season, the Seattle Seahawks ran the ball on 51.3% of their offensive snaps, the 3rd highest rate in the NFL, trailing only Buffalo and Baltimore. Yet with Charbonnet sidelined by a torn ACL, the foundation of that formula has shifted. New England is constructed to eliminate the run entirely. The Patriots allowed the 6th fewest rushing yards in the league at 1,729 and surrendered only 11 rushing touchdowns, 4th fewest overall. And those numbers were posted despite Milton Williams and Bobby Spillane missing significant stretches. With both available, this front becomes a top 4 run defense on a neutral field in consistent conditions. That reality forces Seattle into an uncomfortable dependency: Sam Darnold's arm. Yes, Darnold finished 5th in passing yards per game, but he also threw 14 interceptions, the 3rd most in the league behind Geno Smith and Tua Tagovailoa. And that is where New England thrives. Christian Gonzalez, Marcus Jones, Carlton Davis, and Craig Woodson form a secondary engineered to hunt mistakes. They have already combined for 5 interceptions during the postseason, creating momentum-swinging turnovers in critical moments. Even if Darnold avoids interceptions, the trenches still represent a looming challenge, as New England's interior pressure and disciplined edge containment consistently disrupt timing-based passing attacks. The matchup forces Seattle to abandon comfort and play directly into New England's strengths. Seattle's offensive line has clear vulnerabilities on the interior. Charles Cross ranked 19th among all tackles in pass protection with a 76.9 PFF grade, but the real issue lies inside. The Patriots do not rely on dominant edge rushers. Instead, they deploy something far more disruptive: overwhelming interior strength. According to Next Gen Stats, New England features 3 of the top 5 interior pass rushers in the postseason. Kayvon Chaisson has logged 18 pressures, Milton Williams has generated 17, and Corey Durand has contributed 13, forming a trio that consistently collapses pockets. And that list does not even include Khyiris Tonga, whose power and leverage anchor one of the deepest interior defensive line rotations in recent seasons. If Harold Landry returns as anticipated, the Patriots can field a complete front mirroring the layered dominance once seen from the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles. Offensively, New England does not require explosive highlight plays. What they need is disciplined execution. This is the softest defense they have faced during the current playoff stretch, following a path through multiple top 5 units in the AFC. Seattle's defense remains elite, fast, and structurally advanced under Mike Macdonald. They live in nickel and dime packages, playing zone coverage on approximately 81% of their snaps, while generating pressure primarily with a 4-man rush. But New England has built-in answers for that structure. Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, and Mike Hollins excel at settling into soft spots against zone coverage, creating consistent mismatches with size and leverage. Henry and Austin Hooper punish lighter boxes when Seattle removes linebackers to defend the pass. Diggs, potentially competing for his final chance at a championship, thrives in the intermediate windows that Seattle's scheme sometimes concedes. Add in a structured screen game, motion manipulation, and carefully designed Drake Maye scrambles, and this matchup becomes a strategic duel rather than a shootout. Experience also matters here. Josh McDaniels enters with 6 Super Bowl rings, including 3 earned as an offensive coordinator. Mike Vrabel brings 3 championships from his playing career and has instilled a disciplined culture throughout the organization. Milton Williams, Carlton Davis, and Mike Collins each bring championship pedigree as well. Seattle features proven winners in Cam Akers, Cooper Kupp, and Draymond Jones, but the overall experience advantage leans toward New England, particularly in preparation and adjustment. At the center of everything is Drake Maye, calm, precise, and fully composed in high-leverage moments. A quarterback who delivered a massive leap in production this season without sacrificing discipline. A player who finished as a top 2 quarterback across the league, controlling games through efficiency rather than volatility. Now he stands 1 victory away from becoming the youngest quarterback in league history to win a Super Bowl. He is Drake Maye, and right now, the New England Patriots are all he requires to complete the mission, and all the organization needs to remain within striking distance of a championship legacy. The stage is set for a Super Bowl defined not by explosive offenses, but by the tactical intelligence of 2 coaching staffs operating at the peak of modern football strategy. On one sideline stands Drake Maye, the young quarterback leading a New England Patriots resurgence built on discipline, precision, and situational mastery. On the other stands a Seattle Seahawks defense engineered by head coach Mike Macdonald, a strategist whose scheme has reshaped how defensive football is played in this era. The Patriots enter this matchup after surviving a playoff gauntlet of elite defenses, including units ranked inside the league's top 5. Their ability to adapt on the fly has been driven by the pairing of Mike Vrabel and offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels, 2 minds with extensive championship experience. Their approach has leaned heavily on widening formation spacing, shifting protection schemes, and forcing defenses to declare coverage early. Against Seattle, that becomes essential because Macdonald's system thrives on disguising intentions before the snap and rotating into trap coverages that punish quarterbacks who lock onto early reads. Seattle plays zone coverage on the majority of downs, but their variations are layered. They shift between match quarters, cover 6, and disguised cover 3 shells that look nearly identical until the moment the ball leaves the quarterback's hand. The Patriots counter this with pre-snap motion, particularly using Stephon Diggs and Hunter Henry to generate leverage advantages. Diggs' ability to threaten intermediate spaces forces safeties to widen, opening seams for tight end crossers and backside digs. Henry and Austin Hooper become the chess pieces that test Seattle's lighter second-level defenders, especially when the Seahawks replace linebackers with defensive backs in nickel and dime formations. For the Patriots, the emphasis will be on maintaining balanced game flow rather than chasing explosive plays. The offensive line, revitalized by additions like Milton Williams and the return of strong interior rotation pieces, plays a foundational role in keeping Seattle's four-man rush from dictating tempo. The Patriots' run game, while not the focal point, remains essential as a stabilizing mechanism to discourage Seattle's simulated pressures. Defensively, New England's task is clear: force Sam Darnold into the types of decisions that have historically produced turnovers. The Patriots excel at post-snap rotation, showing two high shells and rolling late into robber looks, which have already generated multiple playoff interceptions. With the Seahawks relying heavily on a ground-based identity, the absence of Zach Charbonnet places added pressure on Darnold to sustain drives. New England's interior defensive line, led by Milton Williams, Kayvon Chaisson, and Corey Duran, is built precisely for these moments. Their ability to collapse pockets from the inside out disrupts timing, forces hurried throws, and eliminates clean escape routes. This chapter of the Patriots' story centers on calculation, poise, and execution. The final outcome will hinge on which coaching staff can outsmart the other and which quarterback can stay composed when the disguises dissolve, the windows shrink, and every decision becomes magnified on football's biggest stage. The approaching Super Bowl carries enormous legacy implications for both franchises, each standing at a pivotal crossroads defined less by past glory and more by the futures they are trying to shape. For the New England Patriots, the post-Brady era has been a search for stability, identity, and a new foundation capable of sustaining long-term success. For the Seattle Seahawks, the question is whether an elite defense powered by a modern schematic genius can echo the dominance once held by the Legion of Boom and convert defensive mastery into championship hardware. New England's path to this stage is unprecedented. After consecutive 4-win seasons and organizational upheaval, the franchise appears to have discovered a blueprint that blends youth, discipline, and experienced leadership at critical positions. If the Patriots win the Super Bowl, it marks the beginning of a new era, one in which Drake Maye becomes the face of a franchise that once defined winning at the highest levels. His rise from promising prospect to top-tier quarterback in only his second season would stand as one of the most seamless transitions from college standout to professional centerpiece in league history. The coaching staff's reputation would undergo a dramatic recalibration as well. Mike Vrabel's leadership would be validated not only by culture building, but by proving capable of navigating an entire season that included adversity, injuries, and a roster overhaul. Josh McDaniels, already one of the most decorated coordinators of the era, could reaffirm his status as a top offensive architect, demonstrating adaptability through a scheme tailored to Maye's strengths, rather than relying on past systems. A Patriots championship would confirm that organizational alignment, from personnel decisions to coaching philosophy to on-field execution, has once again become the franchise's competitive advantage. Seattle faces a different trajectory, one rooted in defensive identity and long-term structural vision. Under Mike Macdonald, the Seahawks have redefined defensive football using a system that blends disguise, speed, and versatility in ways rarely seen in the modern NFL. A championship would elevate the defensive unit to the same conversation as historic groups that carried their franchises to titles. It would validate the young coordinator turned head coach as one of the premier strategic minds in the league. For a franchise that once won with physicality and intimidation, a new blueprint would emerge, one driven by layered zone concepts, interior pressure, and cohesive discipline. A Super Bowl win would also reshape the perception of Sam Darnold. A quarterback whose career has been marked by inconsistency would suddenly be associated with a championship-caliber program, supported by a defense capable of elevating the entire roster. The narrative surrounding Seattle's rebuild would shift from promising experiment to established contender. The stakes transcend one game. This matchup determines whether New England's new era begins with a championship exclamation, or whether Seattle's modern defensive dynasty takes its place in the league's history books. The collision of philosophies, identities, and rising stars ensures that the outcome of this Super Bowl will echo far beyond a single season.